guys, welcome back to A Little Less Lisa and welcome back to New York. I am home from Asia and very happy to be here, although we had a fantastic trip. And this is going to be my week 39. How crazy is that? Check-in, but obviously we're going to focus a lot on how the trip went, how my eating went, how my workouts went, all of those kind of things. And yeah, I'll let you know, was I up, was I down, was I flat? All that pertinent information. So let's see how my trip went. So if you're new here, my name is Lisa and I am a 57-year-old post-menopausal female. I am 5'6", just like a smidge over. I used to be closer to 5'7", but you know, I'm one of most women who are postmenopausal and shrinking. So I have been on a GLP-1 journey since the very end of March. It's either March 28th or 29th. I can't remember which day precisely. And like I said, this is the end of week 39. I take compounded tirzepatide. I started this journey at 183.8 and I have lost a little over 50 pounds and I'm currently in maintenance. So I have been in maintenance for a while now. I hit my initial goal weight at week 15, which was basically 40 pounds. And then I decided that I thought I kind of wanted to lose a little bit more, give myself a little more wiggle room. And so then took about 4 weeks or so to get down to, like I said, like the 50-pound range. So I am currently on 5 milligrams. I only went up to 5 milligrams during my, the actual weight loss part of my journey. I did try going down to 2.5 to try to do maintenance, but I started getting quite a bit of food noise back, and so decided to stay on 5 milligrams. Now, the one thing that I am doing is spacing out my injections. I did it a little bit differently while I was on vacation. I was sort of progressing to try to kind of get myself to maybe 14 days. And I think before I left, I was up to 12 days, maybe it was 11, somewhere around there. But on my trip, I basically stayed at sort of the 8, 9, I think maybe 1 week I did 9 days, something like that. I took 3 injections basically while I was on the trip, and I took the last one basically the morning that we were leaving. So we left Singapore, which was our last stop, on Christmas morning. And so I took my shot that day, and then we arrived back in New York also on Christmas Day, because obviously we get time back. So we basically left at noon on Christmas Day and arrived back in New York at about 5 o'clock on Christmas Day. However, we were on an 18-hour flight, so you can kind of see the difference in time there. So like I said, I think going to continue to stay on 5 milligram, or at least that's my plan at the moment, and you know, that's kind of what I've discussed with my provider. But like I said, spacing out my doses a little bit longer to see if, you know, I don't need quite as much medication in my system to maintain my weight loss. So I guess I've sort of, now that I think about it, I'm sort of approaching kind of a 50-50 mix here of 50% in sort of active weight loss versus 50% of the time I've been on the medication in maintenance. So yeah, I'm just really focused now on body composition and weight training, strength training, really maintaining my bone density. Obviously, as a postmenopausal female who is, you know, aging, as we all are, making sure that my bone density is good so I, you know, hopefully do not have osteoporosis. So let's talk about how the trip went. And as you all know, if you watched my video talking about the trip ahead of time and being, you know, maybe a little concerned about eating and getting enough protein in, let's talk about how that all went. So I did successfully take a case of Premier Protein shakes with me. So I always use the caramel. I took a case of that, which was a case of 15, with me in one of my checked pieces of luggage. And then in addition to that, I took a tub of my Seek protein, so the clear protein that I drink. And I kind of alternated those. So if I had a protein shake one day, then the next day I would do the Seek, etc. And I also took, I should say, a shaker cup as well, so I could make my Seek protein. I did end up leaving the remnants of that protein, the jug of it, because it's pretty big. It's like a container this big. I left that in Taiwan, so I did not take that to Singapore because I had 4 protein shakes, caramel shakes left, which is what was going to get me through the 4 full days that we had in Singapore. So I just figured I have some other Seek protein here already. In fact, I have, I think, an entire unopened container of that particular flavor. So I just thought to save room on luggage space, and I made some purchases while I was there, so it kind of helped out with, like I said, budgeting the luggage space. So left that there. But yeah, so at least every day I got some form of liquid protein. And then generally I would say at breakfast, so all of our hotels that we stayed in, breakfast was included based on the status that we have with Marriott Bonvoy, and everywhere we stayed had a club floor, so we were able to, like I said, have breakfast every morning. And generally I had some form of egg with every breakfast, whether it be hard-boiled or some scrambled eggs. A couple days I had, they were making omelets, so I was able to have an omelet. But I would say my heavy hitter while at breakfast were croissants. Now, that's certainly not protein and very much carbs, but I love croissants. And so, yeah, I pretty much always had at least one, if not 2. They weren't like big croissants. They were like, little sort of, if you go to Sam's, and I don't know if you've ever seen, they've got like 2 sizes of the croissants. They've got sort of the regular size croissant, and then they've got the little mini ones. They were usually like the mini size ones. So I would generally have 2 of those. And like I said, some form of egg. I did try having some sausage or some bacon, the bacon that they have in Japan. So I guess I should back up. We were in Japan for about 2 weeks, and then 5 nights in Taiwan, specifically Taipei, and then 5 nights in Singapore. So in Japan, they don't really have sort of standard bacon. I think it's more like pork belly. Not a fan of that. I did try it one day, and yeah, that wasn't going to happen again. And as I said, they had a couple different types of sausage depending on which hotel we were at, because we spent, I think, a week, 6 nights in Tokyo and then 8 nights in Kyoto. And so depending on which hotel, they had a different variety of sausages. Again, not really my thing, just didn't really like the flavor of sausage that they had. So generally, like I said, stuck to my eggs as far as protein was concerned for breakfast. And then I have to say, guys, I was pretty happy with what I was able to eat. There were only a couple times, I think, when we were out and about, especially for dinner, where David wanted to go get sushi or something, where maybe they just didn't have something that appealed to me. And so I very happily ate egg salad sandwiches. So Japan is known for their egg salad sandwiches. They're called egg salad sandos, S-A-N-D-O-S, and you can buy them at any of the convenience stores. So Japan has 3 major convenience stores: 7-Eleven, something called Family Mart, and something that's called Lawson. And they all have egg salad sandwiches. They have other sandwiches too, but the egg salad is kind of what they're known for. And then the other thing they're known for are these like breaded chicken kind of cutlets, I guess. So if you think of, in the United States, if you're in the Midwest and you're familiar with Quick Trip, like the roller ball and that like section, this is kind of their version of it. Anyway, David had discovered somebody on TikTok who does a lot of Japan travel. I mean, lots of just regular travel content, but specifically he was looking at his Japan content, and he put the chicken on the egg salad sandwich. So we tried that, and that was definitely a hit for him. I did it occasionally. It was kind of a hit or miss thing for me. Sometimes I thought it was a bit too much and I just ate the egg salad, and sometimes I would put the chicken on it so I would get extra protein. But yeah, in general, I would say I did really well. We had some great Wagyu beef while we were there. We did this, I'm not gonna remember the Japanese names, guys, I'm very sorry. We did this, it was like a fried pork cutlet. Again, it has a specific Japanese name that I'm not remembering. We did some like dumpling kind of things, which obviously had meat. Generally it was either like a pork or a pork and shrimp combination. So yeah, I would say that I got a decent amount of protein in. I had an agreement with David that he would not be concerned, I guess, about my eating. I knew that the food and the restaurants were a much bigger thing to him. It was much more important, and he loves sushi, and I didn't want to hold him back from having that. And so we had a discussion before we left that was basically, don't worry about me. I will take care of myself. If there's something there that I want to eat, I will eat it. If there's not, I will figure something out. Like I said, whether it was going to McDonald's and we never went to McDonald's, FYI, but that was sort of what I was thinking of ahead of time. But no, like I said, pick up an egg salad sandwich. I was perfectly happy. Usually I would only eat one half, and then just put the other half in the little mini fridge that we would have. But yeah, I would say the eating, I think personally, went really well. I was definitely pleasantly surprised by what I was, and I shouldn't say able to eat, but just what my choices, I guess. So we did, I know a lot of you mentioned the like skewers of meat. Again, it's got a name that I don't remember, but we went to a lot of the like markets that they had, like the food markets. So in Kyoto, it's the Nishiki market, and I am totally blanking on the name of the market in Tokyo, but we did those sort of several times. David really loves that kind of, street food, that kind of thing. So we did that, and like I said, pretty much in all areas that we were in Japan. And then in Taipei, I'm trying to think what we ate in Taipei. I don't really remember. We had a couple of really good steak dinners while we were there, so that was great. Singapore was one of the places where we had a steak dinner, and other than that in Singapore, I don't even remember. I feel like we maybe struggled a little more I struggled maybe a little more in Singapore. Taipei was hard. Now I'm remembering now. Taipei was hard. We did they have these night markets, which again was something that David really wanted to go to. And I, like I said, had no issue with it. But the problem is that English is definitely not as prevalent in Taipei as it was in Japan. Even though not as many people spoke English in Japan, all of their signage had English on it in general. In Taipei, not so much, especially at the night markets. So you were really at the mercy of just trying things. And I think, as I mentioned in my sort of pre-trip video, I'm not good about experimenting with things, especially with things that I'm just a big texture person. So if I don't know what it is, I'm not going to eat it. So that was a little bit of a tricky situation, I guess, because I would say 98% of the vendors at the night markets, their signage was only in Chinese. So yeah, no clue. Although we did have Google Translate. You can take a picture of something or hold up your camera and it will translate, so actual like writing. So we did use that on occasion, but there were so many different things, like it would have been forever. So anyway, but yeah, I would say, like I said, the eating in general, I think went fairly well, or at least, like I said, I was happy with it. Now, I think I've mentioned this on my channel before. If I didn't, I apologize. But when I travel, or when I've traveled in the past, I have to travel with a thing of Twizzlers licorice, the classic strawberry flavored. I don't do cherry, I don't do the nibs, I don't do any other offshoot of the Twizzlers, just the classic Twizzlers. And I love them, but I, for some reason, really love them when I travel. I just think that they're a great, you just want something a little sweet, so you grab, 3 pieces of licorice and you're good to go. So I bought the big family pack one because David eats it sometimes too. And it essentially lasted me the entire trip. So about 28 days. So I thought that was pretty good. I mean, I definitely enjoyed it. There were a couple days where, I didn't have any or whatever, but definitely, when we got home sort of at the end of the evening and I just, like I said, wanted something a little bit sweet, like I said, would just grab a few of those and try those. So that was good. So, I mean, I guess my point in telling you that is I didn't watch what I ate. So I did not track at all. I did not do well with water. I meant to try to find a smaller water bottle. Now there were definitely times where I would pick up water bottles as we, were out during the day, and I'd grab one from a 7-Eleven or something because I definitely found myself getting thirsty. But I will 100% say that there's no way in the world that I got the normal amount of water that I drink here, because I normally drink probably between 80 and 96 ounces or so a day. There's no way I got that. If maybe, I'd probably say I averaged maybe 6 glasses a day, so maybe like 48 ounces. I mean, not horrible, especially at night. Again, we'd come back and I'd have like a full bottle of water, or any day I worked out, we'll talk about that in a minute, I certainly had at least 1, maybe not 2 bottles of water. So, it kind of varied by the day, but I will definitely say that water was, definitely a lesser important thing that I did, mostly just because I didn't want to schlep it around, and it's just when you're out and walking, all day kind of thing, sightseeing, it's just, And it was also cold. If it had been hot, like it was in Singapore, but the other places we were either very much like fall temperatures to fall really going into winter. And so, you tend probably not to drink as much water in that kind of situation. So water, probably not so great. Okay, so let's talk exercise. So in my pre-trip video, I originally said I wasn't going to work out, and then as I thought about it making that video, and I said on camera that actually I would probably go ahead and bring my workout shoes and some workout clothes because I had room in my suitcase, whatever. And so I did. I worked out, I think it was 7 or 8 times while we were out on vacation. So I would say like an average of 2 times a week, which is great from my perspective. Like I said, I really had no intention initially of working out. I generally don't work out when I'm on vacation, which reminds me, I'll talk about something in a second about scales. But I thought, I'll try. And if it doesn't, I don't want to impede in our plans or anything like that. We were places long enough that we never really felt the rush, or we didn't feel pressure to, get up at 7 a.m., get ready, have breakfast, and be out the door by, 9:30, so we could, get in a full day of sightseeing and make, maximize every single day. Because we were, like I said, in locations for, 5, 6, 7 days, we really had the luxury of just being super relaxed in the morning. David generally got up before I did. The days that I worked out, I generally went to the gym and then would go meet him at the club, have breakfast. Sometimes I didn't get there in time, so he would grab some food for me. And then, like I said, then I'd go back, I would get ready, and then we'd leave maybe sometimes around noon, and sometimes maybe not until 1:30 in the afternoon, something like that. But like I said, we had the luxury of time in these locations where we didn't feel pressure to, oh my gosh, we only have 2 days here, so we have to make the most of every single hour that we're on the ground kind of thing. Like I said, had the luxury of having some time to work out, and I'm glad I did. I probably actually did mostly full body. My thought going into this was, my intention was maybe just doing upper body stuff and not really focusing so much on lower body, because I knew we were going to be doing a ton of walking. So, I knew my legs were going to get kind of a workout doing that. But I guess I ended up doing, I think I did 2 days of upper body only, and then the rest of the time I did full body workouts, because in my Sesh app that I use, if you're not familiar with that, I use an app called Sesh, SESH, which I get to use for free because I am a member of Friday's Health. So that's the telehealth company that I use to get my medication, as well as nutrition counseling. And they obviously, like I said, have fitness as well tied in, as well as mental health coaching. And so I love Friday's Health from that perspective. I guess I should probably take this opportunity to remind you, as you see this video, that there are just a few days left in the $100 special that they're having right now. So if you are new to Friday's Health and you become a member, you become a patient of theirs, you can save $100 on your first month. So Friday's Health is an all-in-one price, so no matter what dosage you're on, the prices differ between semaglutide and tirzepatide, but other than those price differences, the price is exactly the same whether you're on, I don't know the doses for semaglutide, but for example, for tirzepatide, it's the same price whether you're on 2.5 or whether you're on 15 milligram. I know some places, and actually Friday's Health used to be one that was a tiered system. So you paid less if you were on 2.5 or 5, and then it went up for 7, 5, and 10, and then you understand. So, but now it is all in one. There's no membership fee. Your labs are paid for because they do require labs to start. But like I said, right now they are running a special until January 3rd where you can get $100 off of your first month, which is amazing. It makes tirzepatide $259 for your first month, which is an incredible price. And like I said, it includes paying for your labs to get started, appointments with the physicians, your mental health coaching if you want to participate in that, nutrition, both either in group sessions or individual sessions, as well as fitness through either their fitness like group kind of thing, or using this, having access to the Sesh app. So my point there was I was using the Sesh app to do my workouts. And one of the other things that I have access to, in addition to the specific workouts that were developed for Friday's patients and who are on GLP-1 medications, is it's like a beginner full body 2-week program. So I did, I think like 6 of those, something like that. So yeah, so I got some workouts in. I would say we averaged anywhere between like 17,000 to 20, there were a couple days where we did 23, 24,000 steps, but I would say in general, we were kind of in that 17 to 20,000 range. So we definitely got a lot of steps in. So I didn't worry about that so much. I just really wanted to focus on maintaining especially my upper body strength. Okay, so I think we've gone over everything as far as the trip was concerned regarding how I ate, how I moved my body, and how I handled water. So let's get into what happened when I stepped on the scale when I got home. I will be very honest. I was a little trepidatious about stepping on the scale because, like I said, I ate a lot of carbs. I mean, I definitely got a really good amount of protein in, I would say, for the first 2 weeks of the trip in Japan. But I would definitely say that my protein intake decreased as we went through like the last 10 days of the trip. I was still getting in general, either my protein shaken in my protein coffee or, like I said, one of the Seek things, but we're only talking about between 20 and 30 grams. Like we're not talking about getting what you really need. So, and like I said, I really was loving croissants and, I had some pastries here and there and, my licorice and yeah, I didn't feel like I didn't feel like I was binge eating or anything like that. The volume of food that I ate, I still wouldn't have said was huge or even a lot, but I just know that my choices on the trip were definitely not as good and certainly not as protein focused as my choices would be at home, or even what my choices were when I went on the trip with my mom to Spain. And when I was on that trip, I was in my active weight loss phase, so I was really, really focused. I tracked everything I ate during that trip, and I drank all of my water. I came with a water bottle and all that kind of thing. So yeah, like I said, I was a little concerned. So we got back, as I mentioned, on Christmas Day in the evening, and I did not weigh myself the next day. You should never weigh yourself, like right when you get home from a trip, which actually, let me back up, brings me to something I wanted to talk about. So we did have a scale in, all of our rooms, and David weighed himself, and probably, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of the way through our Japan part, I think we were at breakfast or whatever, and he said to me, he's like, so do you weigh yourself on vacation? And I was like, good God, no. I'm like, are you joking? I said, first of all, you're on vacation. No, I'm not going to weigh myself. But second of all, you have no idea how that scale compares to your home scale. And I guess I realized that, okay, once you weigh yourself on that particular scale, then you've got something to base it on, but no. The answer is hands down no. I am not weighing myself while I'm on vacation, and I am not on my own scale. So that's just a little side note. But anyway, yeah, he did. I have no idea, what his weight did or didn't do or anyway. So Friday morning, I did go ahead and weigh myself. And like I said, I know I've talked about this before, where I feel like if you very gingerly, very gently, very mindfully, very demurely step on the scale, that somehow that's going to impact what your weight is, which, clearly it doesn't. But anyway, so I stepped on and I was like, oh God, I don't want to look down at the number. And I did lose weight while we were on the trip. So I am now again underneath my maintenance range. So obviously, as I'm back home now and hopefully, I don't want to say eating more, but I don't know. I assume that my weight will go back up. But yeah, I was really surprised. I really, really was surprised. I thought probably at best I would just, be kind of in right around the middle of my maintenance range, and worst case scenario, I would either be at the top of my maintenance range or maybe a pound or two over, and again, it would be nothing that I would be that concerned about, but just, like I said, I absolutely ate what I wanted. I ate what tasted good to me. Yes, I tried to get protein in, but it was not a huge focus for me. And I enjoyed our trip, that's all I have to say about that. So yeah, I was definitely surprised by the result on the scale. So that's kind of how things went. Like I said, our trip was absolutely fantastic. If you would like to see vlogs from that trip, go ahead and follow me on my other channel, because that's where all the travel vlogs will be, and there will be a plenty from all of the different places we went, including, a lot of the food that we ate, so you can see for yourself what I ate. But yeah, I'm very happy. Like I said, we got home Christmas Day or Christmas in the evening. I worked out on Thursday. I worked out again this morning. I'm actually filming this the day you're going to see this. So worked out, this morning on Saturday. So gotten 2 workouts in. I've already scheduled my upcoming Pilates classes, so I'm happy about that. And yeah, I'm happy to be back, happy to be sleeping in my own bed again. Everything about the trip was just amazing. It was so nice to just have one-on-one time and spend special time with David and going to these places and observing cultures and things that, at least for me, he's been to Asia before, but were new to me. We've spent a lot of time in Europe, so this was a really great new experience for us, or like I said, again, for me. So yeah, it was all fantastic. But now we're home and kind of back to the same old, and we'll be back to our normal weekly check-ins. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope in some way that it was helpful for you if you are going to be going on a trip coming up. Traveling, I guess I didn't talk about traveling with my medicine. I traveled with it the same way that I did going to Spain. I just took 1 vial with me and I knew we weren't going to be gone longer than 28 days. So the medicine was fine. Just took some syringes with me. So that was no big deal. But if you have any questions about traveling on a GLP-1 medication or want any tips or tricks or need any other information, drop a comment down below and I'm happy to try to help however I can. Like I said, do not forget, if you are interested in joining Friday's Health, you can save $100 on your first month. Use the code Lisa100. To do that, there is a link in the description box below. Like I said, you can use that link, or like I said, you can just go to the website yourself, which is joinfridays.com, and put in the code Lisa100 and you will save $100 off your first month, which is absolutely fantastic. But do that quickly because, like I said, that ends on January 3rd. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. It does help the algorithm. And if you enjoy this kind of content, I would love to see you back here. So click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when I upload videos. If you would like to continue watching, there'll be another video over in the corner here for you to watch. And remember, kindness and hate spread the same. The choice is yours. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.